friends, and family. It's Tuesday, and it is shortly after 2 o'clock here on the West Coast, so you know it must be time for SPAC Chat. And hey, folks, we are weeks away from May, and things are going to be kicking up here on SPAC Chat quite a bit. Between now and the conference, which is in January, we're going to be rolling out a lot of announcements, a lot of opportunities, and a lot of really great topics that we know that you are all talking about out there on the volume world boards out there. So if you have a suggestion, you know my email, spacgal@gmail. We're looking for your input too. Now, I have a few announcements I first want to start off with. And the first one is our Young Creatives Scholarship. This scholarship is geared for high school seniors. The perfect person for this would be someone who may be in the photography section of that high school. Maybe they're working on the yearbook, someone who's involved with young creative images. So the application is right here on this QR code. You can go ahead and snapshot this and send it to all your schools. The deadline is May 1st. They simply have to submit a transcript, although this is not a grade-dependent scholarship. And they also have 2 letter recommendations, and they need to submit some sort of portfolio of work or images. We've got a few students who are submitting their yearbook pages that they were responsible for, things like that. Now, the recipients, there's going to be 2 from each region, the East Coast, the Central, and then the West Coast. 2 each from each region. They're going to get $1,500 cash, as well as a Sony camera with the lens kit and everything. So this is a great opportunity for those students to get some help on the education and perhaps, maybe in the future, a fellow employee for you. Also, one other big announcement is our dates have slightly shifted for SPAC next year. So it's the same week that we've been telling you about. It is the same format, same days. We're just sliding everything up a day. So our excursions will be on Monday, pre-con and the kickoff party will be on Tuesday, and then we roll right into Wednesday, and then, of course, the trade show on Thursday, Friday. So it's the same amount of time. We just slid everything up a day because we hear a lot of people have some large sports leagues or large contracts, and they usually leave on Saturday or Friday night. So this is perfectly aligning with that. Plus, if you decide to stay in Vegas for the weekend, you've got some more days to pick up a good show or have a little fun while it's the weekend. Wow. So we have had some great conversations, and one of them happened a couple weeks ago, but we simply had a technical issue. So we're rerunning it today because it was a really good conversation. So let me start off by bringing to the stage our co-host for SPAC Chat, Calvin Harrell. Hi, Calvin. How you doing today?
Hey there, Miss Corey. I hope you're doing well, everybody. Hello, folks out there, north, east, south, and west from around the world. Today we have a couple of presenters or people that we're going to have a discussion with coming from the Captura family, Mike Limbaugh and Tim McCain. We're going to be talking about the yearbook process, yearbooks, and what they mean to us as independent photographers, how we can leverage them, etc. There's a lot of opportunity that's presenting itself right now. As you most are aware, in the school sector, most of you are aware there have been some challenges for some entities, and this is the time and opportunity for you to jump right in. So let's go on and bring them up, Corey, and let's get this conversation started. Hey, while you're doing that, let me explain what's going on. So we're not rerunning. We're going to redo the whole thing from the scratch because I failed. Corey was out on a vacation, and I failed to hit the button that says go live. And so we had a fabulous conversation. It was robust, and we were so happy at the end of it. And then I realized, oh my gosh, you probably saw that I put a note out that said, hey, that one we blew. We'll get it back to you later. So we're here today. Mike and Tim, how are you? A good afternoon or good evening from whatever part of the country you guys are in.
Hey, how you doing, Calvin?
Good.
I'm well.
Doing good. I just have one question. Did Corey hit the button?
Which button?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see in the upper right-hand corner it says "in stream," so we know that it is streamed. We are live. Hey, you guys. The yearbook market is changing, constantly evolving, etc. You over at Captura have been in part of the yearbook world for a long time with your yearbook software that you guys have had, and now you've brought on the Studio Source component to be a element of your organization under your full umbrella. I really want to find out, what are you seeing in the yearbook market, and how do you see this being used to help us leverage more profitability, etc. So why don't we jump off into you, Tim, and you can get started with that.
Yeah, I'll jump in first and foremost. We jumped in with Studio Source, or got together with Studio Source because we were interested. Like you said, we had ClickBooks and we were entertaining a thing called Captura Direct, and we wanted to get deep into the yearbook market because we believe firmly that the yearbook market is strong and quite frankly doubles our total addressable market, right? So everybody that did school pictures, they have yearbooks there, and we were interested in getting in there. And again, we had the ClickBooks software. Started talking to Mike about it, and saw the dashboard that they had that is phenomenal, and the customer service that they offer, and the things that Studio Source brought to the table, and realized that the Captura Direct thing was not going to work. We couldn't compete with these guys, so we gave Mike a call, and Mike and I were on the phone. I remember the conversation in the car, asking would he ever entertain it, and it was a long process because Mike had to be sold on us as much as we had to be sold on him, even more so. And now here we are.
That's fantastic. And Mike, your perspective, how has that relationship worked out? And don't be mad, man. I know there's a check involved, but it's okay. Let's just be honest.
No, it's been good so far. So I mean, we joined forces in December. So effectively, first quarter we started, really working on things. But think about our seasonality of the yearbook part of the business.
Yes.
It starts in March and goes hard into June. So we decided we're not spending a whole lot of time in those first couple months of the year working on the integrations of the systems and how do we, make things better for both of our sets of customers by integrating the softwares more with some of the high volume things. So all of that is most of that is, I mean, some of it's ongoing right now, but we're like, yesterday was our biggest day in the history of the company. I think we put 150, 160 orders into manufacturing yesterday. So there's just no time right now for the yearbook part of the team to work on the integration kind of stuff. Right. So I think, the industry is going to see those types of enhancements with the integration and, how the systems work together more starting in the summer and the fall.
Sure. You're in first 6 months of this relationship, and so be it. I mean, that's good. I like to see it. I have a little concern from another side of the coin, and that is, what is your perspective on the consolidation, Tim, of these units into singular channels?
Well, I don't know. What would the concern be?
There you go. That's the answer.
Yeah. What would the concern be? It only makes it makes it stronger. It makes Mike had a good team over there, and he had a lot of good resources, and they were going strong, and we had that too. So coming together only betters the industry. It only betters the product. It only, we're taking some of our software, in our software, I'm talking about, the e-commerce and workflow solutions, and we'll be able to easily port that into yearbook software, which is phenomenal. And the dashboard, we're already working towards stuff like that together. Like ClickBooks was already in the dashboard. You can put that in there. It's just going to get stronger and better. And I don't see any issue with that. We're not forcing people to do one or the other, or, there's none of that type of stuff. We're just making better products.
Yeah, no. And that's exactly the answer I was looking for. And that is, this actually makes it a stronger offering for independents to use the channel, because it gives them everything under one roof. It makes it a lot easier in many respects. Certainly the feeding of data and images directly into the system for the yearbook. It makes life a whole lot easier. It's almost a painless integration for the photographer.
And Calvin, not just that, it makes it more secure, right? So we're talking about
Talk
anytime
about
you fragment the software, and you start, sending stuff to different places, and we're both companies were active in pursuing SOC 2, and we're SOC 2 Type 1 and SOC 2 Type 2, and we've been working on all that together. But whenever you pull software or you pull data and you move it from one place to the next, right? There could be any kind of issue that goes on, right? So with us being together, it makes it less fragmented, and we believe in a start to finish, like you had mentioned, like from the collection of the data at the beginning to the outputting of picture packages or delivery of those packages, along with the yearbooks. And it's one company holding on to that data with one company's privacy policies, with one company's security, and we know that we're strong in that regard.
And from a marketing and sales perspective, it's my thought process certainly is that those images, the images of students, parents are getting an email with those images. They're getting reminders about those images, and now they're actually getting a reminder as in addition, I believe, they are getting a reminder about buy your yearbook, purchase your yearbook. So theoretically, we should see an increase in the number of yearbook units sold on a per school basis. Are you seeing any of that, or have you been able to implement that yet?
Yeah, we haven't been able to put that together yet, but certainly that's at one of the things on the top 10 list of benefits that we can offer to school
Sure.
photographers is being able to sell them both on the same platform, really easy, and try to get the average order value up for everybody and the number of units sold, right?
Yes. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I like it a lot. And it reduces the number of channels people have to go through. It reduces the number of marketing effort, the type of marketing that has to be done, because it becomes a singular channel, which is outstanding. Tim or Mike, either one of you, where do you see, we talked about the idea of the digital yearbook product that is being introduced, or some people are having. Some people have had flip book type yearbooks, which sure, that's a PDF turned into a flip book. And there's others that are actually trying to evolve into a more interactive yearbook product. What are your thoughts on those products as well? And do you have any forethought of that becoming a piece of what you guys are doing?
Well, let me take that one, Tim. So I've been doing this 20 years,
Yeah.
yearbooks, and we've seen 3 or 4
Mhm.
companies kind of come and go that
Yeah.
that led with digital yearbooks. There might be another one that was at SPAC last year. I don't know what they're up to, but the kids, most of our we got 80% elementary. Most of the parents and the kids want a yearbook. They want to do the signing party, the pizza party. They want to do all that stuff. We've actually offered the EPUB for free on our proofing screen. You can click a button and you can get an EPUB, which is the most common format to put on an iPad or an iPhone or whatever. I would say that out of the 5,000 schools that we service for yearbooks, every year probably 2 people hit that button. Literally 2 people.
Wow. Okay.
And it's free. We say,
Wow.
you can have it, you can try to sell it, make money if you want to figure out a way to do it. So we've had a free EPUB for the 10 years, and nobody really wants it. They want a printed yearbook. So
The
I,
tangibility. It's a
yeah, I
tangible
don't.
product, and it's a legacy product, and they're used to getting that. And that's really at the height. That's what they know. They understand to be a yearbook. When you start talking about the digital product in the palm of the hand, that's nice and it's good, but it's not the same.
So
Uh,
Calvin, we talked about this before, me, you, and Mike, and I knew
yeah.
Mike's position on it. Mine is the same. I would add to that the tradition, what you're talking about, the tradition of a yearbook and the tradition of school photography is what we're trying to preserve, and it was what we're here for. And I think that getting that tangible asset, like you're talking about, is something that is traditionally what your parents did, what your parents did. It's something that you pull out from underneath the bed instead. It is tradition, period. And I think personally, it's what ties school photography, the portraits. I mean, those books are created by school portraits, right? It's something mom cannot do by herself. She cannot pull
Right.
everybody's picture together and lay out a book. It's just not going to happen. So books to me, and one of the things when we were talking as a group with Mike is it ties it in to preserving school photography as well.
So your projection, and I can't disagree with it. It makes perfect sense, and that is it's actually adding a layer that ensures the longevity of the products that we're selling. It makes them more interesting.
Yeah, 100%.
And that is something that all of us. I've always had a mindset that the more people that we can sell pictures to, the more popular and the more pictures will. The more people that we can get being able to distribute pictures results in more people actually buying pictures. It doesn't matter what it is, but if they're able to share pictures, it becomes a me too. I need that also. I need that of my kid. Where is their school picture? Oh, let me go find them. So I that makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. What do you got? What else you got for me, Tim, on what's going on with the yearbook side? Because you guys are very much attuned to what's happening in the complete yearbook market.
Yeah, well, Mike would know better than I because he's heading up that.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
at the part of the yearbook stuff. But I really wanted. We had this question that popped up that Corey put there about how many of you sell yearbooks, and I think that's an important thing that we actually need to talk about. It's pertinent right now. Is they're your school's pictures. So Calvin, you go out and you photograph all these kids, and then for years we were told to hand them over to whatever publishing company, and they would print them. And we're passionate about that too, about your copywritten, protected intellectual property. You getting paid off that, right? And one of the ways to do that is to do your own school's books, right? And I know, in years people would fall away from that. We've made it so easy. Studio Source makes it so easy. You go into the dashboard, you can look at all the where it's at, where it's going. The argument I heard years ago was, well, I could lose a school over a book, right? We could lose a school over anything, but why not get paid for the images that you're taking, right? That money goes to your pocket when you produce your own book.
Well, operating out of a position of fear is the weakest place to be, and that's purely you're not going to grow under that mindset, because growth is going to be propelled by the variety of services that we can provide to our clients at a high quality level in a painless relationship kind of thing. If we can deliver high quality, they'll trust us with other things that we do. And here another piece of it is, believe it or not, yearbook companies have had problems. School photographers have had problems, and you'll keep a school or you won't keep a school. It's not typically because there was a problem of that nature that you're going to lose the account. It's because you didn't respond to whatever the problem was in a manner that's appropriate. That's really
100%. Yeah. And Mike, I'll let you answer the question that he had asked you. I just wanted to jump in on that.
I appreciate that.
Well, I can tell you that our customers are growing by, and across 200 and something customers, we're growing by an average of 2 to 4 schools per year doing yearbooks with us through our system. Some of the bigger ones might be growing 40, and some of the other ones might be growing 1 or 2. But it's still a growth area. And I know you didn't want to. I think you said other companies, but we can say Life Touch. There's still room to get some of that business. They were shedding a little faster a couple of years ago, but all of our customers are picking up schools year after year and growing the yearbook part of the business year after year. And it's a nice little revenue and profit bump in the spring. And we're seeing the average order quantity staying the same. Some of that is, we have a really good marketing platform that we talked about. We'll put that together with the high volume part of it. But, so we have a lot of tools for our customers to sell those yearbooks. So our average order quantity has stayed steady for 10 years. It's not like that's dropping off. I don't know as much, but I hear people say that the picture package percentage, the buy rate is drops year after year, but we haven't seen that in the yearbook business. So that's another way to recapture some of that revenue and profit for sure.
Well, even if you're not in a recapture, it's a matter of you could actually add 10%, 15%.
That's the hope. Yeah, you don't want to have to recapture.
margin on your school product. You know, if the school's worth 10 and you pick up another 11 or another one, that's still a 10% growth net profit. It doesn't make sense not to take that, even at quote unquote the risk that somebody may perceive, because at the end of the day, as Tim mentioned, a school that's ready to change is going to change. It doesn't matter what you do. If they want to change, they're going to change. That's just the nature of the beast. We got to give them good service and stay with them. All right, guys. Is there anything else you can share with us about what's going on within your group or within the industry wide relative to the yearbook markets? Because you've given a whole lot right here in what you shared about the yearbook sales have stayed steady in number of units sold per school per account.
Yeah, I think Mike will be able to add to this, but I'll kick it off. Some of the things that we're seeing is people want to do books. You have the person that wants to create the books that it's a class and everybody, they're looking for an award or they want to do it. And you also have the person like my kids, teachers that found out that I was in software and told me that I was in charge of page, 17, right? You have that. So I think one of the things that we're working on, and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, is faster ways to create those books, real quick ways to get those elementary school books, especially done quick, fast, and in a hurry. So it's not a chore, that it's an easy task for them to complete and still be a beautiful book. So putting, themes and clip art and AI and all, the stuff, and we're talking about AI generative pages, but not maybe the subjects. We got to be careful when we're talking about it. We're not messing with subjects. We're messing with extra stuff on the page. But faster ways to do books is coming out real soon. I know we've been working on it, and I'm excited about that. Mike, you want to expand upon that?
Yeah, you're going to, over the next 26, 27 season and 27, 28 season, I think you're going to see some tremendous changes and enhancements in how books are created and how fast they're created. We still do see some folks, we have a form to fill out if somebody signed up to do a book with us and then they decided not to at the end. And I'm still seeing that even this year, some of the reasons why I see like they couldn't find an advisor to make the book, or it takes too long or something. That's going to completely go away. I'm surprised it's still there, but that's going to completely go away in the next year or two, because the software and the prompts and the AI interfaces and stuff are going to make it so easy for those people. Tim brought up the ones who want to, there's 3% of the advisors at the high school level want to win the national awards and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're going to do it. They're going to do it manually on their own and do things. But for the elementary ones, you're going to see some crazy stuff in the next year or two.
Well, I think that one of the things we all have to be aware, and maybe photographers on the whole, I don't want to say what they don't understand, but PTA is oftentimes involved in the yearbook at the elementary school level. The other piece that I'm hearing from you is that this actually can give the photographer total control, and the photographer actually can do the book in-house if it's becoming easy and fast, and then present it as a proof and say, hey, this is what your book's going to look like, Mr. or Miss Principal. Is this satisfactory? And boom, you've got the book taken care of.
We have people doing that today. There's a lot of guys that do that right now.
Yep.
People that do a lot of books, 300-400 schools, and 150, 200 of them, they're creating in-house. And as long as, part of our thing, we want to generate revenue, but we also want to save labor. Right. Yes. We want to cut costs at the same time. We know what world we're living in, and we know how hard it is and how costly it is. So while we're pushing up AOV and getting books and finding new ways for revenue, we're also looking to streamline, cut costs, again, with staying secure, because that's the name of the game right now, is security. So staying secure, making sure that we do this quick, fast, and we can increase money. It sounds like a tall order, but it's really not, because we took what we already have and what we know and what Studio Source has and what they combined it, and it's not that tall of an order right now. We just have to wait for this season to get over with, and then we'll start running on development.
Okay, let's talk about the smaller operator that has the 1, 2, or 3 schools. that, because there are some folks that are doing small volume. And is there a minimum number of schools they need to be doing to jump into the yearbook side? Mike, you be the one to answer.
No,
I didn't think
we have people who start with 1 or 2 schools, and
right.
now, 10 or 15 years later, they got 30, 40, 50, 100,
Sure.
so you got to start somewhere, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And I think with the resources that Studio Sources always brought to bear, and now combined with, the Captura team, we hold people's hands, and we'll be able to hold their hands even better and more going forward. We've always been the nurturing kind of yearbook company, bringing people from the beginning, through the process. In fact, we've revamped our onboarding process, and we're going to roll out a new onboarding process this fall, because we want to make sure people, know exactly what the steps are and don't feel like nobody's around to help them when they're first getting started.
And Calvin, I felt like you set me up for that question. I want to jump on that too, because we, as a company, Captura, Mike said we're doing the new onboarding process for yearbooks. We also have a new LMS program that just came out, a learning system for bringing on people that are brand new. In conjunction with that, we have 2 now authorized companies that work with us that are offering their services to onboard, when people are smaller and they want the extra level of support or mentorship. We have a couple of companies that we partnered up with that are really strong in our industry and know what they're doing, and they're willing to take on some of these clients too. Some of the ones I think in our with our e-commerce stuff, we're running a promo right now where we're bringing 8 to 10 new people on that are under 10 schools to work with these guys as well. So we want to see people grow. There is no minimum. There is no bottom. We want this industry the more people that come in, the better for all of us. I mean, except for you, but better for us if we bring more people in this industry.
Facts, just facts. That's all you're bringing to the table, Tim. I appreciate it. Hey, guys, I appreciate you spending this time with us. Corey, I think you might have some more information or announcements that you're going to share with us.
All I want to say is start tuning in, folks. There's going to be a reason for you to make sure that you check out what is happening on Tuesdays on SPAC Chat, because we have a whole bunch of things planned. And we're getting very excited for prepping for 2027. I'm just going to put this up here again, just so you all know. Make sure that you go ahead and you mark your calendars correctly, or might have to move your flights up. So make sure you do that. And the other thing I will say is that for all of you people who've asked about when speaker proposals happen, that is going to be May 1st. So look for that email blast. And if you have an idea and you would like to take a shot at speaking at SPAC, that's the way to do it. If you wait until August, we already have most of the schedule set, so I can't slip you in. So please just do your due diligence. It closes on July 5th. So I'm giving you from May 1st to July 5th to fill out the application, put your thoughts together, give me an idea about what you're going to talk about, properly categorize it. We have a new form this year, and that way we can evaluate it. I will let you know that our education advisory group of volunteers is the one that reads through all of them. We remove people's names, so they're first of all vetting primarily on content, and then we back it up with the names so that they can also vet the speaker as well. It's a community thing. I want to remind everybody who has never heard this before, SPAC is a nonprofit organization. It is governed and run by volunteers. I'm pretty much the only one who has to get things done, but everybody volunteers. I think that's what makes our organization a little bit different than others. So I've given you a ton of information. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. We will review this broadcast and answer any questions that come up. But
And
thank you so much, Tim,
hold on,
and
Cora.
thank you so much, Mike. Yeah,
Don't close it out, because
I'm not.
when we talk about the dates, you mentioned about photographers having jobs that they might have on that following weekend, and so we shifted it for that. But I want to be very transparent. We spoke with vendors, including Tim over there with Captura and others, to ask them how would they, if we were to shift the dates, would it save your organization money? And to the letter, each of them said absolutely, because we could have our personnel. They didn't have to stay until Saturday or Sunday. We also had vendors that said, "Hey, I can have a booth now because the conference doesn't go into a Saturday." Because that has been a challenge for some vendors due to religious reasons. So I want to be sure that we're all aware that the changes that we make, the efforts that we put in to bringing about the quality program that we have, always takes into consideration the mutual benefit for all the vendors, the individual photographers, and of course the board. It's what is going to be in the best interest of the industry on a broad basis. And so that's how this decision was made, to shift it one day forward and close out on Friday. So that's all I wanted to plug in.
Well, thank you for doing that. And Corey, thank you for coming back and pushing live, and so that Calvin could get it. We had a much better conversation, I think, last time. This one was okay, but at least you pushed live and published it for us. So thank you, Corey.
Food poisoning is not my friend. Okay, Tim, leave me alone. Yes, it was a better conversation the last time. But
if you want to do it again in the middle of May, we'll try it again, and we'll get the damn thing right.
We got it, you guys. I'm sure a lot of people will benefit from this conversation.
If you at first you don't succeed, let me have it all at once. Try and try again.
Yeah.
That's called resiliency, folks. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for those in our viewing audience. Thank you for joining us. We hope you got something out of here. If you're not doing yearbook, it's obvious that you need to be. Make contact with Mike over at Captura. Tim is not the one you're going to talk to, but Captura has people that'll work with you and get you onboarded so that you can be a part of a new piece of business for you that might help you grow. In fact, it might give you more business than you can anticipate. It's not just the one school you have. It's being able to say to a school, hey, we can help you with this yearbook also. They're looking for one-stop shops. Everybody does. I mean, just as an example, today, and I shared with our guests, today I get a call from a school saying, hey, we can't order paper because the school district has shut down our purchasing for the year. We need 50 cases of paper. Can you get that for us? I can get you 50 cases of paper. It could be delivered the next day. It's as simple as that. Yes, we're going to make money on that 50 cases of paper. We have a captive audience, and I've said this forever. We have a captive audience in our contract customers, and we have the opportunity to sell them so many things because we, as business people, know how to get the resources or get what they need and sell it to them. Why shouldn't we be? So Bertie, as Bertie's name was mentioned, Bertie Skenderowski, I sure hope I said that right. Bertie has been one to be doing that. He's gone so far, and Tim has shared with us that he was working software for them on their answering system, their phone answering system during the pandemic. Come on, these are things that the schools look at you and they'll never leave you. They'll never leave you when you're providing services that they don't know how to get for themselves. So, folks, thanks a lot for joining us. We'll see you next week. Corey, who's up next week? Is it Tech Tuesday?
It's OPP.
Oh, OPP.
Portrait photographers. You got to tune into Michael Rack and TJ and see who they're interviewing this week.
Excellent. Okay, folks, have a wonderful week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.